15 common mistakes cruisers make that you'll definitely want to avoid before, during, and even after your cruise. Hi y'all, welcome back. I'm Tiffany with TP's Travels, and I have a list of 15 things you'll want to avoid. I've done all of these things at one point, so I wanted to share them with you so you make sure to avoid them. And as always, please leave a comment in the description below if you have anything you want to add to it, and just let us know from your experience anything you think that we should also avoid. Before cruising, the first thing you want to do on your list is don't forget to research your cruise ship. I say this because anytime if you've ever heard somebody say, I will never cruise again, and that was their one and only cruise that they've taken, most of the time it's because they chose the wrong cruise ship. If you're on the wrong cruise ship that it's not geared towards what you are looking for, you're not gonna wanna cruise again. There are all kinds of cruise ships out there that are for everybody. So you've got party cruises, you've got family-friendly cruises, adults-only cruises, some that are the mega ships with lots of activities. Those are not for everybody. Some people prefer their smaller ships. Some people want the party vibe. So think about what it is you want so you make sure that you're not choosing the wrong cruise ship. Number 2, don't book your cruise without knowing what's included and what's not included. Recently, I was on a cruise and I talked to a first-time cruiser and they thought the Wi-Fi was included. That's because it's typically always included on hotels, so they didn't know to look to see if the Wi-Fi was going to be included on a cruise ship. It is not included on a cruise ship. You do have to pay for the Wi-Fi. And another one that I was talking to someone when I was in the casino on a cruise ship, they thought because they gamble a lot, they go to Vegas every so often, but this was their first cruise, they thought that they would get free drinks while they were gambling. Because when you're in Vegas, as long as you're at the table or at the slots and you're playing, well, as long as you are playing and the server comes around, you can have free drinks. That is not the case on a cruise ship. You still have to pay for the drinks, regardless if you're paying. Now, hold on. If you are playing a lot, you can earn to a certain point level to get those free drinks either while you're playing or in the casino only. I do have another video where I talk about this, where I earned my free drinks when I was on a Royal Caribbean ship. So if you want to see a little bit more about that. Now, number 3, before you're cruising, don't forget travel insurance. I've done this several times, and I was actually talking to somebody recently, and she was booking a Alaska cruise, and she said, I don't really need travel insurance if I'm going on an Alaskan cruise, because if we get sick, well, my insurance covers if we're in Alaska. Yes, you're right. Your insurance will cover you if you're in Alaska, but your insurance is not going to cover you if you needed any medical coverage on the cruise ship, or any flight delays, weather cancellations, or your luggage is lost or anything like that. So your travel insurance will help you with all of that. I have a link below if you want to do some comparisons on travel insurance. Number 4, you want to make sure you don't forget to download the cruise app. Many cruise lines have their own cruise app, and this is really helpful because there's a lot of different things you can do with the cruise lines app. So you can look at the daily schedule, specialty dining, you can even book your shore excursions on your cruise app, and you do have to do your muster drill, but a lot of the cruise apps, you can watch the little video of the mandatory safety briefing on your cruise app. So it's really helpful to have, so definitely make sure that you don't forget to download your cruise line's cruise app. Now, number 5, before you cruise, don't overpack and yet don't underpack. I know that's kind of contradictory there, so you want to make sure you have exactly the right amount of stuff. And believe me, I have done both overpacking and underpacking, and I'd much rather overpack than underpack. Yes, I completely understand that. Who's with me on that? I have underpacked a lot, and that's very stressful. I do have a packing list, a free packing list in the description below if you want to check it out to kind of give yourself some ideas of what to pack and what not to pack. But making sure that you are kind of staying at least within, maybe a couple extra things that you need is okay, but you don't want to have a whole other suitcase that you don't need. And believe me, I've done that before. I actually brought a whole nother suitcase I didn't even open up. And it's just a lot of extra stuff that you don't want to do. So make sure that you are packing close to what you need. Don't underpack, but a little bit closer to what you need there. Now, when you're on the cruise, number 6, what you don't want to forget is right away the muster drill. Now, I did say beforehand, I said that you should download your cruise line app because on many cruise lines, they will allow you to do the muster drill on your phone. But you still have to check in at your muster station. This is basically so you know where your muster station is, and they'll scan your card just for proof that you've done that. So you don't have to sit there and watch the whole safety briefing of how to put on a life vest or anything like that, because you watched it on your phone already if you download the cruise app. Now, number 7, on embarkation day, you don't want to head straight to the buffet. I know you might be like, but I'm ready to go eat. So what I suggest is have breakfast before you get on the cruise ship so you're not tempted to go eat right away, because that's where everybody goes. It is crowded. And that can also, if you're a first-time cruiser, make you feel a little overwhelmed because you thought the cruise ship was a big cruise ship and you're seeing everybody right here in the buffet area, because that's where everybody's going to go on the first day. They start spreading out as time goes on throughout the week. Now, here's what I suggest. I'm not telling you not to go to the buffet at all on embarkation day. Many times they start to sail away around 3 to 4:30, 5 o'clock. A lot of times it's between 4 and 5:30 here in Port Canaveral. But before they sail away, you will have access to your room, and that's usually around 1 to 2:30. And if you wait till people have access to their rooms, then you'll notice that the buffets are starting to die down a little bit, because everybody's now going to their rooms, they're unpacking, so it won't be as crowded if you wait till around 1:30 or 2 o'clock when people start having access to the rooms and they haven't closed the buffets just yet. Now, number 8 is something you really should do before your cruise, but you can do it on your cruise, and that is don't wait till the last minute to book your shore excursions. The reason I say that you shouldn't wait and you should do it really before your cruise is because on embarkation day, people are going to customer service and they're trying to book their shore excursions, and it gets pretty crowded, but you can book your shore excursions on the cruise ship if you did not book them ahead of time. Now, with that said, number 9 is on embarkation day, you really want to try to avoid customer service altogether. This is, booking your shore excursion, but another way that you can also making sure that you can avoid going to customer service on embarkation day is make sure you have a credit card attached to your file. A lot of people will end up going to the customer service desk because they didn't have a card already attached to their file, so they could start doing any kind of charges on board or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you do already have that all set up so you can just go ahead, enjoy your cruise, go straight to your room. And if you have any questions, try to wait till either later that night or the next day, because right away as people are boarding, that's typically when the lines are longer and the wait gets pretty long. So try to avoid going to customer service on embarkation day. Number 10, and I did do a video on this one, don't leave your phone in roaming mode. Set it to airplane mode as soon as you get on. Yes, you may have a few hours before you sail away and you can still use your phone and your Wi-Fi on your phone, but just in case you forget, go ahead, set it in airplane mode. I did forget to do this one night, and we woke up the next morning to a $500 charge. Luckily, it all worked out. I talked about that in my video, but you want to make sure that you definitely go into airplane mode. If you need Wi-Fi, they do have Wi-Fi on board. You can check with your cruise line to see how much their Wi-Fi is. It's different on every cruise ship. They'll offer it by the day or by the week, so you can check out what they have to offer. But you definitely want to make sure you're not in roaming mode and you're on airplane mode so you don't rack up that large bill. Now, number 11, I actually added this to the list from a comments that a lot of you all were saying on some of my previous videos, and that is don't be a chair hoarder. Don't be a pool chair hoarder. There are incidences where people are hoarding chairs, and yes, I have actually seen somebody put their stuff down on a chair to save their chair, and they left the cruise ship and went out to port. So no, you cannot do that. That's a big no-no. And if they're caught, yes, they will take their stuff and put it over at guest services. But some cruise lines and cruise ships will try to monitor that as much as possible, but it's hard to do. So just try to be, respectful of others, and don't hoard pool chairs and put your stuff down on them and be gone for 3-4 hours, or leave the cruise ship and go out to the port. Now, after your cruise, what should you avoid doing? Well, number 12 on this list is don't book your flight too early on debarkation day. I was on a cruise, it was actually last summer out of California, and we were actually coming back 3 hours late. And because of that, There were a lot of people who were telling me that they were going to miss their flight because they booked their flight to go out that morning because they thought we were going to get off the ship around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And we didn't get off until about 10:30, almost 11 o'clock in the morning. So that pushed them back a little bit to getting to the airport, which meant their 11 o'clock flight they missed. So give yourself some time on debarkation day just in case anything were to happen, and so you're not having to rush to the airport or, worse yet, miss your flight. Now, number 13 on the list is don't ignore your onboard bill. So try to, just like I said before on embarkation day, try to avoid going to customer service also on debarkation day, because that's the next day that it's really heavy. And that's really why people are going, is because they have questions about their bill that they want to get cleared up before they get off the ship. So don't ignore your cruise bill. And one way that you can check to see your charges and what has been charged to you is on your cruise app. I believe that you can also see it on your TV. I don't know if some cruise ships are still doing this. Leave a comment below if you've been on a cruise ship that is still doing this. But at one point you could see it on your TV if you didn't have the cruise app, and you could go to one of the channels on the TV, and that way you could review it in your room. Now, of course, you could always go to customer service. I recommend the day before debarkation day and get a printout of your bill. Now, even if you were keeping track of everything that was charged, it is always a good idea just to check your bill before you get off the ship, because mistakes can happen. Now, number 14 on the list is don't forget to leave a review. These crew workers work very hard, and your reviews are actually very important to them. And if you can write down their name, or sometimes what I will do is I'll take a picture of their name tag, and they don't care. I've even told them, like, hey, can I take a picture of your name tag so I can remember your name? Because it's going to be 6 days before I get off the cruise ship, so I want to make sure I remember your name so I can add it in. So, and they're very happy for you to do that. They want you to do that. They want you to add their name specifically when you want to give them praise in the feedback. It really helps. So don't forget to fill out those reviews after your cruise. Now, number 15 is don't wait too long for your next cruise. Now, what you can do is before you even get off the cruise, book your next cruise on your cruise ship. Now, Royal Caribbean has what's called Next Cruise, where you can book your next cruise on the ship before you even get off. But all cruise lines have where you can book your next cruise before you get off the ship. I've done this once before. I did save some money, and it's also just a great feeling getting off the ship going, I've got another cruise booked. Let me know, did I leave anything out? What do you avoid when you're on a cruise? Thanks for watching. Bye for now.